Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the St. Louis podcast, St. Louis's #1 podcast. I'm your glorious host today, Eric Brown, sitting next to Chris Reisner. Today we have Adam Farris on the St. Louis podcast, and we're going to get into the weeds with him and his business. But before we do, this is the St. Louis podcast, where each and every Friday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, we drop an episode on all major podcasting, audio, and video platforms, where we meet with the most badass people and creators to talk about business, entrepreneurship, and current events. Let's jump into it. Adam, how are we?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing well, man.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's nice out today.
You excited?
It's a beautiful
It's
day.
a little cold still.
That's
St. Louis for you.
It's a beautiful day out
Missouri
today.
weather. We went from 30
yeah.
degrees yesterday to we're going to get to 60 today.
I
Yeah,
love
it's
it.
getting a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
I love it. I was taking care of some plants this weekend at my house. It was a good plant day. It was great weather out. I got my plants, they just keep growing. I take such good care of them. So I needed to repot a bunch of them in bigger pots,
I'm calling a bunch of BS right there.
Yeah.
I don't
yeah,
think
right.
you know how to garden at all.
Is that considered?
They're probably plastic.
I don't know if
that sounded like a lie.
I don't know if
That sounded
that's.
like a lie.
I swear to God, I'll take a photo when I get home. Yeah, I don't know if it's considered gardening or if that's some sort of different word for that.
Are
Regardless,
they indoor plants?
yeah, they're all
Wow.
indoor. They're all indoor. Regardless, all right.
Wait a second.
Again, we got Adam Farris, CEO of Skylink, a private jet charter company based here in St. Louis, on the podcast with us today. The first thing I'd like to ask you about is, okay, there's jet charter companies, there's jet management companies.
Sure.
What are the differences between all of these? And if someone's just looking to, say, charter a flight, where should they go? Or how do they do that?
Yeah. So to break it down from the beginning, you have private jet charter brokerage, you have private jet charter, then you have charter operations or jet management, or being a jet operator. That's what we do at Skylink. We do the private jet charter brokerage. So we're just brokeraging the flights. We're basically allocating a flight to an individual that is requesting it. That's basically all that's involved. So we have, softwares and connections with people. And when somebody wants a flight from, say here to Nashville, wherever you want to go, we just find you a flight. We don't own any jets or anything like that. We just allocate those flights. Then you have private jet charter, which would, generally mean that you are a charter company, meaning that you have jets. You have a fleet of jets, whether it's 1 or 100.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing the same thing we're doing, but you actually own a fleet, right? So when you request a flight, you're not, like when we ask for a flight, we're requesting it from a charter company
Sure.
that has jets, any of their overflow. When they get a request as a charter company, they have their own jets. They basically just allocate their own jets to whoever's asking, and that's, it. And then the last one is you have the operator, not operator, but you have the management side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, say somebody owns a jet and they don't want to take care of it. They don't want to,
Which I think is probably everyone that has a jet, right?
yeah, it's not an easy task to take care of a jet. You have, your maintenance and things like that. And then you also just have logistics, like flying into different airports. Like it's not just a one-man show to own a jet at like a higher level. So, you have your Gulfstreams, your Cessnas and things like that, your Citations, all the big jets. No guy that's owning that wants to deal with the, fueling up of that. He wants to just come to the hangar, get on the jet and fly away. That's where management companies come in. They have an entire team that takes care of everything when it, needs to be service, maintenance, anything like that, or just simply get gas, or, even just flight plans. They deal with that so the owner doesn't have to do that. It's for a hefty fee. That's something that we will probably want to get into at some point, but that's, very down the road when we've made a lot of good connections that can turn over to people saying, hey, we want you to take care of our jet, not just, hey, we want a flight from here to here. Because it's a whole different ballgame. One is, at minimum $5,000 an hour to fly, just an hour or so in a smaller jet, to I own a Gulfstream, I want you to take care of it.
Yep.
Right. And I want you to do every bit of maintenance that I have to do on it. So that's the kind of difference. And, we're just the brokerage side of things right now. So it's pretty lucrative not having to actually have any stock of jets. Or any fleet, if you will,
Sure.
because we save a lot of money on those maintenance costs and paying out and the employees and things like that. So, yeah.
So if someone is who are the average person that is chartering a private jet? Because what it seems like online, obviously going, talking about gurus and things like that, It seems like they're just spending the money to take the photos, to go somewhere for some sort of mastermind, et cetera, and then come back and that's the photo they take. But the people that are actually chartering jets don't give a shit about taking photos on planes and showing that they're on the
Right.
planes. They actually need them to get to point A and point B
Right.
faster than commercial, correct?
100%. So there's a stipulation right now, and obviously Instagram and things like that don't do a good job of helping my case.
Mm-hmm.
But 99% of people that fly a private jet are doing it to save time.
Mm-hmm.
They're buying back their time. And that's all that it is. You have the 1% of people that just have so much money or want the, luxury or the glam of it and have $5,000, $10,000 laying around and say, hey, I want to go take pictures on this. Let's fly
Sure.
to Chicago.
Mhm.
30, 45-minute flight, you're done. You got your pictures, you got some videos on the inside. But 99% of the people that fly private jets are doing it to buy back their time. They're flying for business. They're flying for, even just individuals don't buy private jets. Businesses buy private jets.
Yeah.
That's why it's called corporate aviation,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, even so far, like I've been hit up 10, 15 times saying, hey, I do this, that, and the other content creation usually. Can I just rent a jet for a day to do photo shoots and things like that?
Yeah.
And these people, like when I was talking about a second ago.
It's like you can charter a flight.
Yeah, you can charter a flight. These charter operators aren't dealing with that. They're not.
No, I'm
they're not taking
sure.
$500 for you just to get on their jet for
No.
an hour or so and take pictures. It's just not it's not worth it. And that is how the industry is going right now. Is everybody sees, oh, this TikToker, this guy on Instagram has a private jet. It's like, no, he doesn't have a private jet.
Mm-hmm.
Some rich guy has a private jet, and these guys are either on it because this rich guy's taking them somewhere, or they paid the short flight. And it's crazy to spend $5,000 to $10,000 still on a flight. That's insane.
Yeah.
For most people. But if you have $5,000 to $10,000 around and you want to get a year's worth of different content, you could take pictures, videos, getting on the jet, getting off the jet, just mix that with a couple other clips. You got a year's worth of content right there. So $5,000 to $10,000 for some people is worth it, but that 99% of the people are not using it for that. They're using it to get somewhere faster and to basically buy back their time.
In Las Vegas, they have like a private jet that they use just for that.
I'm not surprised.
Oh,
It's like a set.
They have places everywhere. There's
Yeah.
crazy things that people do. Like they'll buy fuselages, which is the long part of the jet.
Mhm.
They'll buy those, put them in a black room with some curtains or green screen behind it, and they'll make it look like you're in a jet, but you're really in like a Macy's or you're in like a mall, right? So people do that, and they're like $25 an hour. Like somebody's like, sure. And I've seen a lot of it. Like as we go through and build our site and do content for ourselves, we've discovered some pictures and we're like, that's not even close to real jet. Like that's a prop. These jets don't have,
And a lot of AI.
it's just crazy. And anybody can go and do those. Cause like they have like those photo studios at malls now where you can go like take pictures in like scenic areas. A lot of them are putting in jets or like at least a jet chair with like a window in the background.
Yeah.
It's like, that's like even if that was a real jet, that's like in 737. Like you're just on Delta or you're on Spirit.
I'd really love to ask a person that posts that photo, do they like themselves? Because the answer, I would think, they're going to say yes, of course.
Sure.
But deep
Probably like
down,
themselves too much.
deep down, if you're posting a photo of you like at the fucking mall in a captain's chair in a private jet and post it and act like you're doing big things, dude, that's a new low.
Listen,
That's sad.
that probably took you an hour
That's
to
a
2
sad
hours.
story.
Go do something else with that hour to 2 hours, and then maybe whatever you did in the hour to 2 hours will make you $5,000 to $10,000.
Yeah.
You can go do it for real.
Yeah.
It's just funny. You walk by and do all that.
It wasn't too long ago, wasn't it? A woman got outed for like going to first class and taking a bunch of pictures, and it turns out she was way back in coach. The other
That's a
passengers
sad day.
actually started like
That's a
taking
sad
pictures of
day. I
her.
think
Like,
it was-
look at this faker. Yeah.
I think it was like Soldier Boy
Yeah.
Oh, what?
who went and took photos in front of a jet and then hopped on his commercial flight.
Mm-hmm. Sounds
And
about
somebody like took photos of him taking photos and watched him walk
Yeah.
onto the jet. And he wasn't even in first class.
That's
I
great.
That-
understand.
He was
That's
just
a line.
Yeah.
That's a line right there.
I understand why, if you have the money and you're flying corporate, you're flying private, or you just don't, like, you have a group of people, even if it is, say 1,000 a person, you could sort of offset the cost a little
For
bit.
sure.
But really, you just don't have to deal with all the bullshit
Yep.
of commercial aviation. Like,
Yeah.
even going in, getting there, like getting dropped off, it's a nightmare.
all
Even if
seamless.
you're TSA pre or like global entry or anything like that, it's still a fucking nightmare.
Usually, even TSA pre, you're getting there an hour and a half before.
Yep.
You could get there 2 minutes before with what we do, and you're on the jet and you're going.
Yeah.
Makes life easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. But
Actually,
go ahead.
yeah, no, go ahead.
Even like offsetting the cost, like you were saying, like, splitting it 10 ways even. So many people in the industry, like the private jet industry is getting crazy. People are like, if you have to split it, 10 different ways, you shouldn't even fly. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not like just for the ultra wealthy individuals. Like, if you just want to get somewhere easier,
Mm-hmm.
let me know. I'm not gonna. There's so many charter companies that are like, you like, we don't want you to split. We won't accept payments like that. If you want to pay us, go for it.
Yeah.
I'll let you split it 20 ways. I don't care.
Yep.
And it's just like getting a toxic industry almost, because people, on TikTok and Instagram are doing all those, like, getting on a jet, getting off a jet. And that's how you're seeing if people have money or not these days, is what they do on their Instagram. Like, they post those carousels, and it's what pictures are they doing?
Well, it's always them getting on or off.
Mhm.
It's never them flying. It's like, I want an actual video of you where I could see clouds.
Mhm.
Like, I want to see, some turbulence. I want to see
Yeah.
it actually be real, but it's
You
never
want to
like
see an
that.
emergency landing?
That would be.
I mean,
Scary.
Jake Paul and Logan Paul have both done like videos in.
What do you mean?
Like they've done full videos in planes.
Yeah. Those are two guys that do not need to fake it. They have
Well,
some-
that makes
And David
sense.
Dobrik.
yeah.
Yeah.
They have the money to do it.
I mean, considering one of them's
But it
gonna
was like-
die in June, they probably do want to fly a couple more times before that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about all that. Mike Tyson's kind of old, eh?
Dude,
I think
I
he
wouldn't wanna-
destroys
you wanna
them.
get
Mike
punched in the face
Tyson
by
is
him?
going to.
I don't want to, but
First
I'm
of
not
all,
boxing.
if Mike Tyson loses that, rigged.
Yeah.
It's 100,000% rigged.
This is the problem that I have with that. Is Jake Paul is a quarter of his age, if not maybe a little older than that. I don't know how.
Have
Mike
you
Tyson's-
seen the
He's
Mike
25
Tyson videos?
or he's 27. Sorry.
he's 20. Okay.
Have you
not a
seen the
quarter of
Mike
age.
Tyson videos? Though?
Listen, I understand that, but one
Like
is
the new
how old-
ones?
How old's Mike Tyson?
50.
58.
He's like
58.
57.
I thought it was
58, 60, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. He is 60 years old, fighting a 27-year-old
Mm.
who may fight, wishy-washy people here and there,
Mm.
but he still is a 27-year-old that has dedicated his entire life to boxing.
I mean, not his entire life, obviously.
Or well, recently.
The last
Yeah.
few years, yes.
His every single day from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., that's all he does in Puerto Rico or wherever he lives. Like, that's what he does. Like, he doesn't do YouTube anymore or things like that. Like, he just boxes. He has the potential to win because he's just doing it. Like, he's doing exactly like what Mike Tyson did. Mike Tyson hasn't fought in when was the last time Mike Tyson fought?
He had a fight not that long ago, but it was a like exhibition fight.
Yeah, where they like tiptoed around each other. But like
Oh,
a
yeah.
serious
Roy
2020.
Jones Jr. in 2020 was a split draw.
Okay. So he split draw I can't probably say this without getting shit, but I have no idea who the other guy is.
Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah, I don't know who
I've
that is.
I've
it,
heard
it would have been a big
He's-
fight back in the day.
he's a big fighter back in the day. Like,
Okay.
I mean, Roy Jones Jr. He's
I'm a youngin', so we don't know these people.
But
in,
on that
in
same
'99 he was the undisputed light heavyweight champion.
yeah.
In '99,
In 99.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
no, 25 years ago.
yeah.
So he's 55. So they were both 50 years old fighting. I mean,
Yeah. It's not good. And then you're going to say that at 27. I think that Mike Tyson has the power. I think he's one of I'm not a big boxing guy, but I see the clips here and there on
well, don't they
Instagram.
lose the chin though? Eventually, don't boxers lose the chin so they eventually start getting knocked out a lot easier?
Dude, if this was a
I
street
mean, they do
fight,
once they get knocked out the first time, usually.
if this was a street fight, Jake Paul would like get arrested. This would be like elderly like
Abuse.
murder.
you think?
100%. I think Mike Tyson's going to get killed.
Interesting. Hot
about it.
take.
Think about it, because Jake Paul's stronger, faster.
What are the odds?
I have no idea. I haven't even
Heavily
looked.
weighted for Mike Tyson to win.
Is it?
Heavily weighted.
Here's what I'll say about the whole thing with Jake Paul.
Tyson's an underdog.
There's no way.
He's got to be. He's double the age, if not triple. There's no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyson is plus 300.
So
So you're telling me I should bet some money and win, right?
let's do something.
But here's the deal with Jake Paul. Like, everybody gives him shit for, like,
Mhm.
oh, he fought old MMA fighters. He was a fucking YouTuber.
Yeah.
We talk about Jake Paul too much. I hate Jake Paul.
Really?
I know, but I'm just saying.
I don't like
he
him,
was a
but I-
YouTuber.
Yeah,
I'm with them. I hate Logan Paul. I think that dude's a scumbag.
he's definitely a
Oh,
scumbag.
he is,
Just the way he
for
treats his friends
sure.
and things like that. But
100%.
but I think Jake Paul is like he even like doesn't even like his own brother anymore.
No,
You know what I mean?
no, he doesn't.
No, because I don't even like either
Dude,
one of them. They're both, like,
Logan
the
is
YouTube
jealous of Jake.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
they had a
so
bad
annoying.
split, didn't they?
Logan was mad about the Mike Tyson fight. He was like, "Oh, I wanted that first."
Yeah, he's like, but I beat. He said something like, "I beat you." It's like you're supposed to be brothers, like,
Bro, that dude,
You should care
they
about
should
each other.
fight each other.
100%.
That would be,
That-
that would be amazing because
I'd pay
Jake
for
Paul
the
would
pay-per-view.
Jake Paul would tear him up, dude.
100%.
Jake would tear Logan up.
Absolutely.
That'd
And
be
all Logan.
that
does,
would
I think,
never
is
fight.
WWE. He does WWE,
Yeah.
right? No, not a shot. That is the corniest stuff.
that's.
I mean, he did fight Money
It's-
Mayweather.
it's so funny that WWE that he's in
But-
WWE. I want to know like how he got that connection in.
probably like The Rock. I mean, he's a big, tall dude. On
Yeah.
like TRT and
They're
stuff
like,
like
we need
that.
to get the young YouTube audience into WWE.
Yeah,
Makes
you know
sense.
what I mean? It makes a lot.
And he
of
was
sense. It's a
already
good
doing
marketing play.
fights.
Yeah, it's a good marketing play for sure.
All right, so going back to what we were actually here to talk about, off subject.
Mhm.
I got a question.
Oh, yeah, 'cause
So
we're great at staying on
Yeah,
subject.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
so when you're looking to charter, obviously you have different size jets, very light, mid-size, things like that.
Sure.
Is that something they should know, or should they just essentially reach out to you, for example, and be like, "Hey, I'm trying to go to point A to point B with this amount of people."
Yeah, I mean, it can go either way. You can have your guy that is super experienced, flown 100 times, and knows exactly what he wants. He's like, hey, put me in this specific jet. I
Mhm.
like the interior. I like the layout. I like the speed, things like that, and the range. Speed and the range don't really matter for continental or international flights and national flights like that
Sure.
as much when you're talking some guy that knows what he's looking for. But for what somebody wants, a lot of times they're just gonna call us or send in an inquiry and say, hey, I'm flying with this many people and we're going here. And that's when I go and do the math on what's the range, because you can't even if you could fit 6 people in a smaller jet, sometimes it may not always get the range you want, or
Yeah.
you'll be very cramped.
Yeah, or
And-
weight.
Yeah, and that's a thing that a lot of people don't think about is your weight,
Mm-hmm.
is how many bags. Like if you got
Well, how many stories are there of small, not charter jets,
Yeah.
but small owners of like Cessna and things? It's always flying like family members and shit.
yeah,
There was. Do you remember the story of the Slew family? Yeah, that
yeah.
like
That was I can't get too into it, but that was actually my dad was in a partnership of an airplane, and that he got out of it, and that was the
that was the
airplane.
plane.
That was a plane.
Holy shit!
Yeah. So luckily, my dad got out before that happened. But it happens all the time, and that's considered general aviation or general
Yeah.
aircraft.
Yeah,
That's GA. So those are sometimes underpowered when you weigh them down, things like that. And that's every jet. Any jet in the world can be weighed down, but when you get to the bigger jets, you would have to put a tank in one of those.
Sure,
You know
sure.
what I mean? But it's those smaller jets, you can weigh them down. You put all 3 of us in a plane with golf bags and luggage. It's going to be heavy,
Mhm.
and you're just hoping that these engines have enough lift.
Well, I didn't realize that some of these smaller planes, again, back to just general, private pilot's license
Sure.
or whatever, some of these engines have like 20, 50 horsepower.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, my Corolla has 150.
Yeah.
You're like, how are we getting anywhere in this
It's
plane?
crazy. It's crazy. It's a whole different world of like what you can and can't do. But then that also relays over to like the private jet side of things. And when you get to like how many, it's not really into weight anymore, but it's about like capacity. How
Mm.
many suitcases, how many golf
Right.
bags, how many, if you're going on a trip to like Barbados or something like that, you may want to bring like a surfboard or something
Mhm.
weird like that.
hmm
Can it fit is the real question, because you don't want to get there the day of. And I've
You're like,
seen
we
it
have too many
happen.
bags.
You're like, yeah, you have too many bags, or you're gonna just have to like put bags in the walkway of the
Yeah.
jet, which is just a no for convenience. It's hard to walk through, but
Sure.
then also,
Safety seems like an issue.
yeah, if you have a stewardess, she's probably not gonna like that.
Yeah.
Because you'll have on the bigger jets, you can have a stewardess, and she'll be like the head safety. She'll be safety trained and everything
Mhm.
like that. She'll be like, that's a no. You're gonna put it somewhere else, or you're just gonna leave it back. And that's the last thing you want to happen is somebody just came and paid $50,000 for a flight. And
Yeah.
you can't bring your suitcase. So like,
Yeah.
well, I could have on Delta. You know what I mean? You don't
Yep.
want that to ever happen.
Yep.
So back to your question, it's all about either they know what they want and then it's on them, and I'll still confirm like, hey, this does fit everything you want, or it's up to me to say, hey, you're taking this many people and you're going to go this far. I'll find something that is comfortable, and then we send them an option sheet.
Yeah.
Then they get the option. If there's more than one, available, they get to choose what they like, because it's very customizable. There's thousands of jets available at all times. It's not just a one. It's not just cookie cutter. It's very customizable, and whatever you want, whatever you care about, whether it's having a couch or having a bed in the back, things like that.
Yeah.
Like you can ask for that, and we can then find you a jet that has that.
Interesting.
It's
There's
crazy.
there's so many different, just with one specific size of a plane, the different configurations as far as like baggage or like fuel, how far things go. I always found it interesting when Steve, Jet
Asano.
Business,
Yes, sir.
and how like I feel like I learned a lot from him about just private jets in general, of like, you never think about it. So if you're flying, private, 5,000 miles there and back,
Yep.
and your jet can go, 6,000 miles, but you're against the jet stream on the way back. So maybe it takes more fuel, more time, and things like that.
Yeah.
It's astounding all the different things that go into figuring out what's going to work best.
Yeah. And that's where, when I was talking about the operator and like the management earlier, those are all things that the management take into account. Because some guy that owns a big jet is not worrying about what the winds are at 40,000 feet.
Sure.
It's some guy,
Yep.
it's the flight operator and things like that that are dealing with that. But those things, like even the wind, like those boil down to even like general aviation, general aircraft. They deal with those too. Like if I fly to the Lake of the Ozarks, it's a different time going there than it is back with tailwind versus headwind.
Yep.
It matters on every plane. It's not just the small ones. It's all the way up to the big ones too. It all matters which way you're flying, whether it's west to east or east to west. It all matters. It's all just a big, I think they call it like a jet stream or something like that.
Yeah. Jet stream.
For exact reason.
Yep. Makes sense. I literally had a question and it went out of my brain. Chris, what do you got over here as I think on it? Are you just daydreaming over here?
Yeah, pretty much.
What are you thinking about?
I've never even been on a plane. So like this
my
whole private
God,
jet
Isn't that
talk.
crazy?
This guy is wild.
This whole private jet talk, I'm like, okay, cool.
When we
Never
talk
even
about
been
the
on
other
Spirit.
So you're a bigger guy. You in like a southwest seat and shit would be uncomfortable as fuck.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I don't fit very well.
So
like,
private
lengthwise.
jets only.
Because you're tall. Yeah, exactly. So
Well-
how tall are you, Chris?
6'2".
Yeah. So usually your knees are probably going to be into the seat.
Oh, far into the seat.
And dude, I'm not a wide guy, and even me, I can hardly.
Yeah.
I got no nut room. I got nothing in those
Not
seats.
comfy.
It's
Yeah.
terrible.
Well, when we talked about this the other day, Chris is like, well, the first jet I got to get on is a private jet.
No.
You got to go Spirit first.
Spirit or Frontier. You got to go budget of the budget.
You got to hit rock bottom, and then
Yeah.
we'll get you up high.
Yeah,
You
that's
know what I
right.
mean?
What are we trying to do to this poor man? What the fuck?
He needs to understand what it's like to fly
Spirit.
basic economy.
It would be like if your first car was a Bugatti or some crazy shit like that.
Yeah, your
It's
first
like then you have no appreciation for it.
Yeah.
But if you go and you sit on that,
98 Camry. It's a 98 Corolla. That's what
Yes.
that's what we need. That's what you need right now.
go on like a here to maybe Florida on a Spirit Airlines.
Oh yeah.
And you'll appreciate when you get on a private jet.
Or just when you have enough money to fly like, first class or just
Mhm.
not basic.
Dude, it's a pent up mess. There's
Yeah.
a lot of angry people in those planes.
Well,
And that's why people fly private.
I was,
You have to deal with
we're going to Evan's getting married and we're going to Cancun, all of us.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, all these flights there and back, I'm like, they were in charge of using some points for us to book a flight there, and let me tell you, they put us on Delta Basic, and the flight's like 2.5 hours, and I'm like, I've never actually been to Delta Basic seats, so I don't know how it's going to be. I think they're even smaller than Southwest seats, though.
Yeah. Did you guys think about flying private? I know a guy.
Yeah, we should have.
Yeah.
We should have talked about it. By that time, it was too late, though. It was like
They also booked it with points.
Two and a half
That's
hours,
true.
though. 2.5 hours, you'll be fine. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Now, I refuse, but dude, those jets are tiny. Like,
Didn't
even
Delta
like a
just update
737.
all their seats? and there was a bunch of like
dude,
backlash about it.
dude, Boeing is a little sketch right now.
Well, they roll it out. They roll it out in waves, so it's not
Yeah.
like every single Delta plane. Like you'll get one if you fly for like business and you fly airlines all the time. You may get one, maybe once a month. You'll find like, oh, they
new one?
actually got the seats updated. All the other ones are gonna be older.
They posted about it, and people on TikTok freaked out
Yeah, because have you seen the seats?
because they look like
They are so thin,
yeah.
and I
Yeah.
don't think they recline. Do they recline?
I don't know.
I don't think they do.
That's wild. I don't usually though reclining. It's almost like I don't know.
It's nice for me because I get to when I the last time I think I flew commercial, I would recline the entire time. The stewardess
Yeah.
made a whole mess
Yeah.
about it. But I mean, if I don't, my knees are like in the other person's
Yeah,
row. Like it's nuts.
that's fair.
Yeah, so they just had to deal with it. That's how you're gonna be, Chris.
So I'm curious if, say for example, I'm going from St. Louis to, Houston, but there's no planes here in St. Louis that I would want to take.
Yeah.
Can we get a plane from a different city to come here for that flight?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's just relocation.
Okay.
And there's relocation times and everything like that on where they are. I mean, there's floating fleets, and what a floating fleet is means it's not a brokerage, but it's the actual charter company, and they just have they don't actually have like a home base that
Okay.
they go to every night. They just float around from FBO to FBO, so really to airport to airport.
Yep.
So they will be at the airport when you need them, if you need them. They just float. Like that's their entire business model, is just being where you need it to be. And that's the nicest part, is you always have access to something new.
Yeah.
You don't always like if you flew out of Spirit, there's only a couple different FBOs there. You have like Signature, you have Aero Charter, you have Strategic Air Services and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Spirit Jets, right? That's four different opportunities to find a jet you want, and they don't always have something you want. Like a lot of them are going to be Citations or smaller jets like that. If you need some big Gulfstream or some Global or Falcon or something like that, some big boy jet where you're going to have bedrooms and things like that, you're going on a long haul, they're probably going to have to fly something in. So that's where like Flex Jet or something like that, we would basically allocate that flight, have them come. We just put them at any of the FBOs, usually Signature, which is like the main company. Like Signature has an FBO at every single airport
Interesting.
that I've ever seen.
Wait, you said FBO a bunch of times. What does that mean?
Fixed base operator. It's like
Okay.
It's exactly what I was talking about. It's like the operator itself. So they are the ones that have the fleet of jets and things like that. And it's also like the terminal that you would pull into, and they'd valet your car and you park your car there while you're gone. And that's where, like, if you're getting a flight from somewhere else and it's not their own, they're going to pull up. They're going to have a team that, if it needs to be, like, because when a plane turns off, they don't always just, have AC running. So they plug this thing in and it, it'll AC the plane or heat the plane. And then also, like, they'll get the poop out and stuff like that, all the gross stuff. But just maintenance that's what they're for. They're basically just like a big, concierge service for when, a jet comes in.
Gotcha.
And a lot
Makes
of times
sense.
they have their own fleet as well.
That makes sense.
Hey there, St. Louis podcast listeners. We've got some exciting news from our sponsor, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Lee. Mark Lee of Farmers Insurance is recruiting agency owners here in St. Louis.
That's right, Garrett, and everyone knows what Farmers Insurance is, and if they don't, they will now.
Yes, it's kind of a household name. That said, as many of you know, a large part of our audience is made up of badass business owners, entrepreneurs, and top producing sales professionals with an open mind like yourself. Farmers Insurance is currently searching for driven individuals who aspire to own their own business or already own their own business and want to add another income stream to join the Farmers Insurance brand and own their own insurance agency.
This is a stellar opportunity to build your own insurance agency from scratch, take over an existing agency, or if you're just a slow roller, we know you the guys out there and ladies, get paid to train under an existing successful agency owner before starting your own.
Holy shit, Eric. That means that whether you have experience as a business owner or you've never heard the word business before in your life, there's a pathway to owning your own business through Farmers Insurance Agency led by Mark Lee.
That's right. You can become a Farmers Insurance business owner even if you've been homeless in the past, just like you.
Yeah, thanks.
If you've ever dreamt of being your own boss, building a team under a reputable brand, and making a difference in your community by offering top-tier auto, home, and commercial insurance to consumers and businesses in your area, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis led by the godlike man himself, Mark Lee, has the perfect opportunity for you.
Visit insurancecareerstl.com to speak with Mark Lee, the district manager of Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, to become a Farmers Insurance agency owner today.
Did you hear that, St. Louis? Go visit insurancecareerstl.com. Insurancecareerstl.com. That is INSURANCE, career, CAREERSTL.com.
To become a business owner today, again, one more time, visit insurancecareerstl, as in St. Louis.com today, right now, this second, or reach out to us at stlouispodcast.com and we'll introduce you to Mark Lee ourselves. And I promise he won't spell out insurance and career to you.
Now back to the show. Yeah, I would, I'm curious as far as going, I'm completely thinking about something else right now. I was thinking about, we were just talking about Boeing and how glad I am that Boeing doesn't make any small private jets.
You're happy about that?
Yeah.
Make a lot of money.
Well, I'm happy about it because they're falling apart right now.
In what way?
Have you seen all the stories? So United Airlines has had 8 incidents in the past 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
There's been like a lot of stories.
Yeah, but see, and that's where I get with it is like people are always like, oh, like I don't want to fly like private because it's so much,
Is it more dangerous to fly private?
Absolutely not. Not a shot in the world. Think
Okay.
of the regulations in the FAA are crazy. Like it is you do not want to get on the FAA's bad side, and no pilot is going to fly a plane that's not maintenance right.
Hopefully.
But when you get
I
to
mean,
these
it's their life
airlines,
on the line too.
but when you get to these airlines, I think they push the boundaries.
Well, yeah, they get forced to.
Take off, you have 300 people on the plane waiting. You know what I mean? You think about like when your plane gets delayed, it's like a maintenance issue. If that was on like a private jet, they are checking it once, they're fixing it, then they're checking it twice, then they're having somebody come check if it's fixed, and then they're going to have somebody come do it again. On Delta, they're like, oh, hour and done. It's out. Because it costs so much money every time they sit. Like every second that they sit there, it just costs that plane money.
It's true.
And those planes are also getting so many more hours on them than a private jet. So in hours, they're just like miles on a car.
It is pretty amazing that we don't have more issues.
Yeah. People really think that airplanes are, very unsafe. But think about how many like car accidents you see on the way home, but then think about how many like airplanes you see. Like I think
Yeah, I
think
mean, the
there's only been, like,
unsafest thing
9.
you can do is drive.
Yeah.
I mean, when's the last time a commercial plane went down in the U.S.?
That's a bad question for my just point, but like last week or something like that.
What's
Yeah, it was like last week.
Wait,
But,
what?
yeah, it was super sad. Luckily, I mean, they had hero pilots on board, so the pilots got everybody out, but the pilots themselves actually passed away. So it doesn't happen as much as you think, but ironically, it did happen like a week or 2 ago.
When was this?
What absolute terrible timing for you to ask the question.
Wait,
there.
what was
I know,
this?
I know. I got walked into that one. It was just a week or 2 ago. It was a.
I don't see any commercial airplane crashes.
Oh, you're talking about commercial. Okay, it was a private. I thought you were talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the one in Florida?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one went
So
down.
that was the stewardess or whatever you call
Mhm.
the person that situates the back area and actually takes care of the
Yeah.
passengers. She was the one that got everyone off safe.
Yeah, her and the
Apparently,
pilots.
they had to exit like through the back like cargo door or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah,
which is crazy.
that's not.
A normal passenger probably wouldn't know to do that.
No, that's that. I mean, all these.
So she saved those. I guess there's only 2 passengers.
I think it was just a husband and their wife, and she saved both of them along with herself, which was great.
Did you see the story about what may have happened?
No.
So I watched the Blanco Illyrial channel, so I'm up to date, dude.
Alright.
So what apparently happened? I don't think the NTS, they only released their preliminary report, but both of the engines turned off at the exact same time. They lost both engines at the exact same
That's
time.
what I heard. Yeah.
So I forget what type of plane they were flying, but apparently to do something you have to reach over
Mm-hmm.
in a weird spot, and they think that instead of like doing flaps or whatever else they were doing, they turned the engines completely off at the same time. And then for them to get them back on,
Yeah.
they were screwed. They were
Yeah.
too low and they were just screwed.
I don't even know how you would do that. I mean, the flaps are like, that would be like saying you were trying to put your car in park, but you actually like turned it off.
Yeah,
It's like that's like an insane thing to say. It had to have been.
we'll have to listen
something
to the video
electric.
afterwards.
Yeah,
and
it had to have been something electrical.
well,
and-
how do they both go off at the same time?
Because think about like,
But even if it's electrical, they're probably on different.
but it's like, yeah, it is weird. It's very weird because it was right on takeoff, I believe.
Oh, it was when they're coming down.
Was it on descent?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was on descent.
I haven't read.
They
too
were like
much
only
into it.
5 miles out from the airport.
Yeah, I haven't read too much into it, but I've seen some like different things, and it's definitely fishy the way that they, landed on the highway. Kind of, they had a lot of other options, and they landed on the highway, which is incredible. Like those pilots did a great job, but I think that from what I've seen,
They hit a car on the highway, and that's what actually took them out. Like they probably would
that's
have
what
been
lit them
safe.
on fire. Because like I
If
said,
they hadn't
before,
hit the car, they probably would have been fine.
yeah, the gas.
It wasn't the car, as the wall.
Yeah.
They hit.
Well, it said that
they hit the sound wall
Mhm.
next to the highway.
They hit a car and then dragged the car, like it
Yeah.
veered
Because
them into the wall.
The person
gas
in the
is
car
engine and
survived.
The wings.
That's crazy.
Dude, imagine you're just
How do you
driving.
call your insurance on that? Hey, my car was hit by a plane.
Imagine you're driving to work, and you're just like, all of a sudden, you just see a plane like right in front of you coming at you.
And it
You're
was a
like,
nice
holy
jet.
shit!
It was a nice.
Yeah, it's a
jet.
bombardier. Like,
yeah. Bombardier.
yeah. All right, sorry, whatever.
Oh, you're good. It's like the same thing. Because back in the day, that's where they got their name from. I think they called it a bombardier. Like the
Okay.
guys that drop bombs off those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
So you're not wrong, but you're definitely not right.
Poor person.
It was crazy though. So sad that they died though.
That's crazy. So going to that with you bring a brokerage essentially. How do you make sure that the flights that we're chartering for the clients, that we're actually going through a good charter business?
It's a lot of initial trust,
Mm-hmm.
but also it's very hard in this industry to get screwed, if you will,
Yeah.
because everything is so regulated. Like the FAA, all these different, safety ratings and things like that. And then also you just have contracts with these companies. If you're not here, then you just broke the contract. But I've never really heard of it happening. Maybe you get there a little too late sometimes, or but that was caused by something, and then they relay that to us, and we relay that to the client. But
Sure.
it's really not an industry where you're having a lot of error, because there's a lot on the line if there's any error.
Yeah.
So we get pretty lucky with doing this, that when we send out a quote, it's a legit company. It's also very hard to fake or be bad at like being an operator, because it just costs so much, and there's so much into it. Like some guy can't just one day say, you know what, I'm gonna go open a jet operator, and then the next day he's working and selling flights.
Sure.
It's a lot of getting approved for certain things. Like even just our software that we have as a broker, I mean, it took 6 months to get that approved, and we're just a broker. Like think about if you actually own the jets and you're going to take them to market. It's a lot of process, and you have a lot riding on that, because if they do a bad job for us, we're telling every single person we know. It's a network and connections industry for sure. We know everybody.
And honestly, I mean, it's a pretty small network too.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's you have your big companies, you have your NetJets and your fly exclusives and things like that. But besides that, it's just a bunch of different brokers here and there, and a bunch of different operators, and we all kind of know each other. And if we don't know each other, we probably will one day.
Yeah.
And it's really like a phone call away for anything you need. Like even like Steve Versano, like he's a phone call away if you need him, type of guy. Like he'll answer the phone. We've already talked to him twice. Like he's a great guy. Then you also have like guys from like FlexJet. Like they're a big operator. They do fractional and things like that.
Yep.
But like it's not ever a problem of reliability. It could be a flight is 5, 10, 15 minutes late sometimes, but that's just something that's going to happen with takeoff, landing. Say the airport they were at before kind of held them up. There was a flight rotation or something like that. That's the only problems we ever have. There's no the jet just didn't show up ever, or the jet's messed up, or things like that. It's a very reliable industry, and
Sure.
that's the greatest part about it.
Yeah, makes sense. And then I would assume that most people that actually own a jet, if they're not using it, they would like to have it chartered instead of sit there. I would assume most, not everyone, because obviously some people always want that there
Yeah.
if they ever need it.
Yeah, so you have two sides of it. You have the people that really want that, because you'll never The superstition, or like the not superstition, but the stipulation with it is that people think that if you own a jet and you let other people do it, you're making money on that jet.
Yeah.
You're not making money. You're just offsetting your cost.
Yeah.
You have fixed cost, and then you have your costs that are going to happen, with how much you fly. The more hours you fly it, I think that's the variable, cost.
Sure.
And the more you fly the plane, the less it is actually worth it to charter out that plane when you're not using it. You also have a lot of risk. Somebody spills wine on the carpet, then your jet is out of commission while that carpet gets fixed.
Mhm.
Or say some kid is on the jet and takes a Sharpie to the upholstery.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to get paid for by the client, but your jet's going to be
Yeah.
in service, getting cleaned and things like that. And then also it's just reliability. The more you fly your jet, the more you have to get things serviced and things like that. So you definitely have the people that are like, yeah, sure, let my jet fly.
Mhm.
And then you have the people that are like, if I'm not flying it, nobody is.
Yeah.
And it's a double-edged sword. There's people that have their opinions on both. It's a jet, it should be flown, but also you paid for it.
Yeah.
If you have the money
Yeah.
to not have to worry about offsetting that cost, just keep it in the hangar.
Sure.
Just let you fly it. Then it's there whenever you need it. You don't have
Yeah.
to worry about it. And then you know exactly who's on it. Because that's the problem with us a lot of times is if somebody does own a jet like that, they have to approve us
Right.
to charter it. So it'll be like if somebody asks, hey, can I take red wine, or I have a dog, or I have kids, can we do that? Then I have to go back to that person and say, hey, these people have kids, they have a dog, and they want to drink red wine. Is that cool? No. Well, next jet. So it's
Gotcha.
easier just to find somebody that's not doing that most of the time. And a lot of people don't actually like to do it when they aren't using it because of that issue. They don't want people to spill. It's their house to a point. It
Sure.
costs way more than their house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
So it's like their baby, But
Or maybe not as much as their house.
depends on where
Depending.
they're at. Yeah.
Depending on what they got.
Yeah.
What's his name's building $1 billion house in Florida, in Palm Beach.
$1 billion house.
$1 billion house.
What's his name?
Citadel.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I got
But
nothing.
$1 billion house, I'm about that. But then
He said he's building it for his mom. Ken Griffin, Citadel Securities.
Oh, yeah.
This is the guy that is, he screws over small investors
what do you do
by
with a
taking
$1 billion house though?
He's like one of the main
Dude,
people
have
in
you
the,
so-
Bitcoin.
No,
No, not Bitcoin.
So, no, he just owns the trick.
GameStop.
Well, that was one of the things, but yeah.
That's an egregious.
So if you
house.
look up, like, the houses next to his house are like 50 mil,
Yeah.
and then you'll see how big they are, and then you'll see like the plot of land his house is going to be on. It's like 4 times the size.
He's
It's
like-
insane.
He's like doing what every real estate investor says not to do.
This guy's evil, bro.
Yeah.
He has like the largest.
You're supposed to buy the cheapest house in the nicest neighborhood, not build the craziest house in a medium neighborhood.
He's like the guy from what's the show on Amazon? Not Ballers. What's the other? Billions.
Yeah, billions.
And it's like I think they even tell the guy at the beginning of that show, I forget his name. He's like, he was gonna buy a house. They're like, don't buy this house.
Yeah.
You know how many people told him not to buy that house? So many people, and he is just like, nah. He has the most expensive piece of property in like a bunch of cities. In New York, he has the most expensive piece of property.
I want to be that rich.
This guy's, well, just not from doing shitty things that,
Yeah.
Normal people.
Yeah. At least keep it somewhat, morally responsible.
He bought a first edition copy of the U.S. Constitution.
That's tight.
For
I think
43
that's
mil?
So cool.
Like, imagine having so much extra money that you're like, fuck it, I just want the Constitution.
He outbid the
Yeah.
Constitutional Dad Group.
That's crazy.
Who's that?
Dow Group.
Oh, Dow.
I would love to have that much money to just be able to buy like yeah, you could have like a Picasso or things like that, but to be able to buy the Constitution, that's crazy, right?
So what is first? You said it's
Constitution Dow is a
Or like even like special books that like people have written. Like that'd be crazy to just have that much money. You can like buy things from the government that they
well, it's
consider
not
sacred.
first edition. I'm assuming is not It's not the original.
There's no way. I don't think that the government can just give away our Constitution.
No, it's the first. I would
but he
assume the
probably has a
first
copy or
the
something.
first edition. Yeah, I don't know what.
I think that day they probably made a couple just in case one got burned up or something. I bet
Probably.
he's probably got one of the copies.
Well,
or
have you
something like
been
that.
to the Washington D.C.?
Yeah.
In the is it the National Archive? No, it's not right. I forget. They have the
Something like
Declaration.
that.
They have the Constitution.
At least I think I've been to Washington D.C. I should know that, right?
Yeah.
Dude.
So
I gotta-
not anytime late. Not anytime
no,
recently.
No, it
you
would have
haven't
been a
been.
while ago.
Makes sense.
My mom and dad were listening to this. Like, you've never been there. Like, I have no idea.
Is it? I think it's the National Archives. I don't remember. But-
First edition print.
yeah.
so
What is it? What does that mean?
There's the original one that they actually signed, and then
Mhm.
they made prints of it.
Okay, that's cool.
Oh, so it
So
was
like
it was
would've
from
been
back in the
printed
day.
in, yeah.
That's super cool.
That's pretty tight.
Yeah.
43
man.
million?
Well, you ever heard of like the books that these like,
At what point are you
philosophers
just
wrote?
like he must have so much money it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
he's buying crazy stuff now.
43 million for the first edition Constitution.
You could buy
well, you gotta hang that on your wall. Like, what the fuck do you do with that?
yeah, not to rev it around the jets, but you could buy a really nice jet for 43 mil. He should have called me first. Constitution?
He's
like,
probably got a couple.
I'm guaranteed.
Yeah, he's
if he-
definitely got
yeah.
some jets.
Yeah, I guarantee his company's got a couple.
You
I'm
can't
sure.
fly a Constitution, but you can fly a jet. You know what I mean?
You can fly
And
with
you
the
can fly a
Constitution.
Constitution. Yeah.
You can fly with the Constitution everywhere. That'd be sick. Instead of being like, "Yo, you got your passport on you," it's like, Psh,
That's your business card.
It's like I got the. It's like I got the first edition Constitution.
yeah.
Yeah,
How about
Mayweather has
that?
his million in cash. He just has the Constitution.
Mhm. That'd be pretty
just
tight.
like in a bag.
yeah, that'd be good.
Okay. So, food on a jet. What are your options?
Anything you want.
Yeah.
Any like you could get a McDonald's burger all the way to if you want it, we can get it. Like
Okay.
we've had, you know, Carbone in Chicago and things
Mhm.
like that. Like you can have that catered.
Okay.
You know, these people have the money to pay for it. They want nice stuff. They're not usually going to be like, yeah, I want a Winty's burger.
Sure.
You know, I want.
Yo, chill. Chill on Wendy's.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
They're like, I want a steak, but not just a steak from like with Chris. We want like the steak that
Yeah.
we like from this place.
Mm,
They'll get it if they want it. You know,
all right.
it's all about access.
Fair.
That's what they want.
Last question I have. About your business here. If I needed a flight, say I needed to get somewhere in 4 hours from now,
Sure,
can a flight be booked and I leave in an hour from now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
100%. It's all on demand.
Okay.
That's the nice part about it. It's not like I mean, you could theoretically do that with a Delta flight.
Mm,
You know, but yeah, 100%. I mean, we have if the jet's not already in St. Louis, it can be here. There's hundreds of options for it to be here in an hour. So if you're leaving in 2 hours, you could even get one.
okay.
You know, as long as you're tentative on getting contracts and payment over, you're on that flight in 2 hours.
Okay.
You could even get a flight in 30 minutes. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
You could get a flight very quick. You could get a flight as soon or as quick as it takes me to type out what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's as long as it takes. And then if they're not in St. Louis, it may take a little longer. But if they're in St. Louis and they got something available, you're gone. Quick. That's the nice part. It's all on demand. It's all quick. It's all
Okay.
at your service.
Are there a lot of private jets available in St. Louis, or are most of them being flown in from other?
There's a good amount. They're like I said earlier, there's a couple different FBOs in Spirit of St. Louis, which is in Chesterfield.
Mm,
So there's a lot of good options that they have out there. It just depends if they're in town or if they're in flight. And a lot of times they're going to be in flight en route somewhere because a private jet doesn't make any money sitting on the ground.
yeah.
So if you're a charter company, you want all your planes to be moving at all times. But the nice thing is we're so close to Chicago, we're so close to Nashville, we're so close to so many places that have a nice amount of airports that we can just call and say, hey, we need your jet here quick.
Yeah.
And it's available.
Do you see the business expanding in the future?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Is it ever going to become more affordable, or we're going to have to deal with the costs? We talked about a lot today about everything that goes into it. So the costs make a
Yeah.
lot of sense.
Yeah, the costs are expensive. I don't think it ever gets cheaper.
Mm,
It may just be different
okay.
because like they're starting to get into like the EV and things like that.
Mm,
and a lot of people are actually going from private jets to helicopters for your shorter flights.
Yeah.
So instead of taking a jet from here to Chicago, you may take a helicopter, which is much more affordable.
Interesting.
Kind of
Helicopters are sketch though.
they are. I don't like helicopters.
Dude, in New York, you can get Uber helicopters.
Yeah, a company called Blade. You can get all these different things. It's a great service. Like even you guys seen like Succession or Billions, like how they just fly from place to place.
Yep.
That's very real life.
Yeah,
People
they
are
have
just flying.
helicopters in that show. All
A
the
lot
time.
of them is like getting from JFK, I think it is, to like Manhattan or something like that.
Yeah, like there's spots in New York where it's cheaper to take the helicopter than
Oh, yeah.
it is to take an Uber.
Oh yeah, there's a company called
Like
Blade.
it's crazy.
Amazing company.
But
I'm
you still
very
got to get
impressed.
to the helicopter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but they
yeah.
have like hubs. Like I actually just posted something on my Instagram the other day, and it was the old Pan Am building.
Mm-hmm.
And back in the day, they had you would basically, it's in the middle of New York. You go to the very top of the Pan Am building, and a helicopter's ready to take you to
Classic image.
JFK.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And that's, I think, what we're going to get back to. I think very quickly, it's going to go from people, because right now you have Lambert in St. Louis, and you have Spirit of St. Louis, and you have Great Creve Coeur, but
No one really flies out of Creve Coeur.
No.
You also have what's the one on the other side of the river
I think it's
in Illinois?
should know this, but it's like Arch Airport or something like that.
Yeah,
or-
they have one. My
Yeah.
uncle used to always fly in there when I was younger. I don't know why I didn't fly into Chesterfield. Probably cheaper.
Yeah, I have no idea. There's landing fees everywhere, but not something to offset. You probably just like that more.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to get to a point very quickly where they're going to have helipads and things like that very readily available. Like whether it's in downtown Clayton, in downtown St.
Mm.
Louis, in Washington, Missouri, just to be able to take a helicopter from there to an airport to wherever you need to go, and then vice versa. I think
Driving does suck.
It's going to get very easy to go places, I think.
Yeah.
Especially with the EVs, the drones and stuff like that, they'll take you places very easy.
What do you mean? What do you mean EV?
Like the electric drones and stuff like that they're making. There's going to be like transportation that's like electric drone helicopters.
Really?
They're being like approved right now. Not approved, but they're being like tested right now.
So everyone's gonna have their own?
No. It'll be like a company. It'll be like Uber. It'll be like Uber. It'll be very regulated, and I will never get on one.
Really?
Wow.
So,
Electric aerial ride sharing.
yeah, it's very legit. It's
You,
coming.
why wouldn't
quicker.
you get on one?
One pilot, 4 riders, 0.
You ever seen a
operating
Tesla going on the
emissions.
highway in autopilot?
Yeah, I've seen
You
them
ever
crash.
Yep. You think I'm gonna get on a drone? 2,000 feet
Well,
in the air?
it says that they have one pilot.
Yeah.
But why are they making electric? Isn't the batteries heavy? Like why wouldn't it
'Cause
be?
jet fuel's so expensive.
Yeah,
It's like double.
Jet fuel's also heavy.
Yeah.
not as heavy as batteries.
Mm,
Facts. Look it up. How many batteries do you think you'd have to put on a 737 to take it from here to wherever? Dude, Pan Am is such a sad story. Pan Am, TWA, and then nothing.
Yeah. Sad.
St. Louis was going to be a hub and
It would have been cool.
then we got screwed.
It's actually good for me though. It's good for us. 'Cause,
That's true.
If we were a hub here, it'd probably be easier to. Well, theoretically, it wouldn't have actually mattered. I think we probably could have got. If we were a hub there, we probably would have had a bigger presence of FBOs at Lambert. Right now, I know we have a signature at
I was
Lambert.
about to say, does anyone actually? Everyone I know flies into Chesterfield. I don't know anyone that flies private into Lambert.
I know,
Or why would you though?
just you live out that way,
Right.
or you have a big enough jet that they have big hangars out there. It's just
Mm.
all availability. Like if
Yeah.
you've ever been to Spirit Airport, it's getting tight,
It is.
and
yeah.
they don't want to let you build anywhere else.
What did they just build down there at Spirit? That massive concrete. What the hell is that?
Oh, the one. Okay.
It's right off of.
That is going to be like a arts building or like where you practice plays or something like that.
What?
Yeah, no, I don't like it either. I flip it off every time I drive by.
It's all just concrete. There's no windows or anything.
It's gonna be like it would be like if you went to the opera, but it's just practice. It's gonna be like I don't even know what you call that. It's like
How did they
the arts?
How did they build that right next to the airport?
It's not in a flight path or anything. You should be fine. Yeah, I mean it's not gonna be that crazy. I don't think it's gonna be that tall. It's tall, but
It's ugly as hell.
it's just a concrete building. Yeah, and it's just gonna be a lot of arts people going in and out of there, just
Interesting.
like in costumes and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, but like and
Seems
that's
like
the
an
thing.
expensive ass building for that. Who's funding that?
I feel like there's a lot of money in like the arts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the opera and shit like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, not my cup of tea, but
Opera? You don't like the opera?
no, I'd go because you meet a lot of like rich people there. But potential clients. But no, I'm not.
It's not an opera type.
Not a singing fanatic. No, I don't sing in the shower.
Ooh.
No.
Yeah.
So I did the math.
Talk
It
to me.
is 767 pounds in your average helicopter of jet fuel. And the Tesla Model 3 has a 1,000 pound battery pack.
Yeah, I get. That's the
So it's
thing.
pretty close.
It's close, but
You saying a Tesla 3 battery pack is? Oh, you're not an engineer. How do you know that's a direct equivalent?
I mean, I don't.
I think gas is lighter. I think
100%.
Batteries are definitely heavier.
100%.
Yeah, think about like how much power a Tesla Model 3 has versus
Yeah,
a
and also, what do you?
Boeing 737.
But it's also
What are you
just a
flying? What are you
helicopter.
flying 30 miles and then have to recharge?
Yeah, I think that's why that hasn't happened yet. It's just we don't have the right source of energy yet.
We need solid state.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jovi.
Yeah.
Joby.
I
We
think
need
have
solid
it, I
state
just think- I
batteries.
don't think we know about it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quiet as a 30,000 miles flown.
Where do people sit in there? Oh, in the bottom part.
I was about to say the battery's quiet. Is that before or after?
Quiet
it's on fire?
electric air taxi
Yeah,
in
but
New
who
York
like
City.
like the quiet thing?
Hmm.
I guess it's nice for the city, but like I've never been on like an airplane and be like, damn, this is too loud. It's like okay, I've had
Some of the older planes.
yeah.
I mean, if you're in a helicopter,
They're loud, but
Some
you're
of
on a
the older
headset
s-
just like we are right now.
Yeah.
As we're talking,
I always have earbuds in.
it sounds exactly like this.
Yeah.
You know. It's
Well,
the same thing.
on
a private jet, it's actually pretty quiet, and the nice part is well, like if you were on like in like a Piper or something
Mhm.
like that, it's loud because the engine's literally 2-3 feet in front of you.
Yeah.
On the nose there. But when you're on a jet, it's relatively quiet. People don't realize like how quiet it is. Like everybody's like, oh, I can't, sleep on it or things like that. It's like you actually sleep better and you get off feeling better because at that altitude, the way that I don't even know if it's physics or what you want to call it, but you actually get off of a private jet feeling better than you would if you would do a commercial flight. Like jet lag's not based on time. Jet
Yeah,
lag's
I was
based
about
on-
to say. So jet lag is based on the altitude.
Yeah, and the pressure, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And how much oxygen and things like that you're getting. What
Yeah.
percentage. And in a jet,
It's
like,
essentially making you sick by flying.
yeah, it's like depriving you of oxygen, I believe. I know in a private jet, I think it's 10 to 13% oxygen or something like that. Oxygen saturation.
Well,
that you're getting.
I think going back to Steve, only reason I fucking know this is
Yeah.
he was saying that like private jets fly you at like 10,000 feet, so it'd feel like
It'd be
you're
10,000. It would be at least
or
30.
10,000 feet.
It'd be
Sorry,
like 30, probably 30,000.
no, I'm saying how the altitude feels.
Oh, yes.
versus a commercial jet, it's
Yes.
like you're at 30,000,
Yeah.
which is crazy. That's like you went up more than Everest.
Yeah, it's why you get off a private
then
jet
you-
and you feel so tired or groggy and things like that. Like I've never gone on like a family trip and got off of a plane and be like, wow, I feel great.
Yeah.
But I've got off of private jets and things like that and be like, wow, you do feel better.
Hmm.
You get a lot more oxygen. I don't even know what you call it, not saturation, because
Yeah.
if you're only at 13% oxygen saturation, you're probably dead. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
that's
something
true.
like that. It's some type of physics or I don't even know, anatomy.
What is this, Chris?
You're searching
This is
over there
still
for
Joby.
something. Yeah.
yeah, I'm actually really interested in this electric helicopter thing. But they made their first delivery to the U.S. Air Force, so they're using it
We're
on
gonna let
base.
them go down first. My God.
I mean, it
That's
says they've been doing this since 2009.
yeah.
They've been working on this plane.
Yeah.
They worked with
development's not a
NASA,
quick
Delta.
Yo, Joby's got
Toyota.
some money. They got some nice contracts
And
with
you
the
can-
government.
You can invest in them if you want.
Nah, I'm good.
thing. Not me.
Actually, they are a publicly traded company.
Really?
Yep.
I just don't think anything like that goes well. I just can't see it. I mean, think about Teslas right now.
But
Like,
they're
Tesla
also
is
so
going
they.
down.
I did finally find because I was trying to see how long of a flight they could do,
They're $5.
and it's about.
$5 for sure.
There you go. That's a lot of red.
Yeah, it can't be good.
They had a flight that was like 150 miles. So I
Really?
mean, really, it's just like
That's not-
outside of the city to inside the city.
Yeah, not very far.
You're not going far with it.
And then it's got to take an hour to 2 hours to recharge.
And that was like
It's just not worth it.
that was their long flight that they were like really hyping up.
Yeah.
So
I just don't really. I mean, the only thing or the only place that this kind of idea would work is like New York, San Francisco.
well, that's
California.
I mean, that's their goal.
It's never working in Missouri.
No.
No way. Nobody cares about getting from downtown to Chesterfield
I mean,
10 minutes quicker.
Yeah.
But for
have you
by
driven on our
thousands-
highways?
Atlanta.
It sucks.
I don't drive on highways. I drive every back road you could find. I hate
Atlanta
highways.
would be nice. They got off anywhere that's just terrible.
Yeah,
DC,
like Dallas and things like that.
DC,
Yeah, that'd be good.
DC would be great. All right, Chris, you got any topics you want to talk about before we get out of here?
So, how do you feel about? No, I'm joking. About. I was gonna do a throwback to one of the earlier questions, but no, I don't got anything.
All right, Adam, you got anything before we wrap it up?
Where can we find you?
Everywhere. FlySkylink.com, FlySkylink on Instagram. Pretty much every platform is FlySkylink or Skylink Air Group, or not Air Group, but just Skylink. And then personals are just Adam G. Farris.
Hell yeah.
That's the one.
Let's go. All right. Well, it was a pleasure. Thank you for coming on, Adam. That's all the time we have for today, but we will be back next week, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time.
It's
With a
actually
new
Central Daylight Time.
get out of here with a new episode, new guests, and more of myself and Chris. If you're watching live or later, we said something wrong, said something you hate. As always, leave us a comment, send us a message, send it to your friends so we can get more people talking hate on it. You know, we love that. Finally, we recorded the episode at halfcoaststudios.com. Still sitting at the small desk here. Shout out to the #1 St. Louis podcast at the #5 recording studio.
Number 5.
Just kidding. If you type in, podcast studios St. Louis or any of the related search terms, thanks to your boys at Vi Media, Half Coast Studios ranks pretty much 1 for any of those search terms. So with that said, instead of going to halfcoaststudios.com, just go to Google, type in podcast recording studios St. Louis, and go to the first link because it's halfcoaststudios.com. All right. That's all we got. We'll see everyone next week.
Thank you.
Peace.
Hey there, St. Louis podcast listeners. We've got some exciting news from our sponsor, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Lee. Mark Lee of Farmers Insurance is recruiting agency owners here in St. Louis.
That's right, Garrett, and everyone knows what Farmers Insurance is, and if they don't, they will now.
Yes, it's kind of a household name. That said, as many of you know, a large part of our audience is made up of badass business owners, entrepreneurs, and top producing sales professionals with an open mind like yourself. Farmers Insurance is currently searching for driven individuals who aspire to own their own business or already own their own business and want to add another income stream to join the Farmers Insurance brand and own their own insurance agency.
This is a stellar opportunity to build your own insurance agency from scratch, take over an existing agency, or if you're just a slow roller, we know you the guys out there and ladies, get paid to train under an existing successful agency owner before starting your own.
Holy shit, Eric. That means that whether you have experience as a business owner or you've never heard the word business before in your life, there's a pathway to owning your own business through Farmers Insurance Agency led by Mark Lee.
That's right. You can become a Farmers Insurance business owner even if you've been homeless in the past, just like you.
Yeah, thanks.
If you've ever dreamt of being your own boss, building a team under a reputable brand, and making a difference in your community by offering top-tier auto, home, and commercial insurance to consumers and businesses in your area, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the godlike man himself, Mark Lee, has the perfect opportunity for you.
Visit insurancecareerstl.com to speak with Mark Lee, the district manager of Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, to become a Farmers Insurance agency owner today.
Did you hear that, St. Louis? Go visit insurancecareerstl.com. Insurancecareerstl.com. That is INSURANCE, career, CAREERSTL.com.
To become a business owner today, again, one more time, visit insurancecareerstl, as in St. Louis.com today. Right now, this second, or reach out to us at stlouispodcast.com and we'll introduce you to Mark Lee ourselves. And I promise he won't spell out insurance and career to you.